Covenants. The following courses are available in the subject area Biblical Covenants. 1. Blood Covenant. 2. Salt Covenant. 3. Threshold Covenant. In the first course, Blood Covenant, Eddie shares with us details about the blood covenant in the Bible and why it is so important. The Abrahamic, Mosaic, and the New Covenants are all blood covenants. What is the importance and significance of a blood covenant? What are the details of the blood covenant ritual? How is the marriage covenant a blood covenant? Why is the shedding of blood needed to forgive sin? How is Yeshua dying on the tree related to the Abrahamic covenant? How is Yeshua dying on the tree related to the Mosaic covenant? Learn this and much more in this powerful teaching. In the second course, Salt Covenant, we will learn what is a salt covenant. It represents something which is eternal and everlasting. Salt is associated with life, friendship, compassion, and thoughtfulness towards others. What are things in the Bible that are associated with salt and a salt covenant? We will see in this course that salt represents life. We will see that life is associated with both salt and light in Matthew 5, verses 13 and 14, as it is written, "You are the salt of the earth, but if the salt has lost its savor, how will the salt be used? It's thenceforth good for nothing, but to be cast out and to be trodden under foot of men. You are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hidden." We cannot lose our zeal for being Yeshua's disciple, as it is written in Luke 14:34 and 35. "So likewise, whosoever he be of you that forsakes not all that he has, he cannot be my disciple." Salt is good, but if the salt has lost its flavor, wherewith shall it be seasoned? A salt covenant represents sharing of each other's lives and the giving of yourself to another. A salt covenant is eternal and everlasting. An altar and a table are seen as a place of worship to the God of Israel. He requires that salt be upon his table. Salt alone on a table represents a covenant. A covenant of salt represents eating bread and salt together at a table. Eating salt at the king's table obligates you to honor, respect, and be loyal to him. Take this course on the Salt Covenant by Eddie Chumney for a deeper insight into the meaning of a salt covenant in the Bible. In the third course, Threshold Covenant, we will see that when the God of Israel brought the children of Israel out of Egypt, and they put the blood of the lamb on the doorposts, this was by a threshold covenant. What is a threshold covenant? Historically, the threshold covenant was associated with an individual household. Whenever a person came through the door, they crossed over the threshold of the door. When formerly making a covenant with a person crossing over the threshold, you would slay an animal and then have a covenant meal with them. The Egyptian Passover was a threshold covenant. Eating the Passover lamb was a threshold covenant meal. The guardian of the door, or threshold, is called a watchman or porter. In the ancient Near East, a thief does not come through the door of a house because crossing the threshold is an implied covenant. The threshold of a house is to be respected. When we willfully sin, we show disrespect for the shed blood of Yeshua by stepping upon his threshold door. The boundary of an area or a city was seen as the place of authority of the deity of that region. The gates of a city were seen as crossing the threshold into the area of the deity of that region. Jerusalem itself is regarded as the threshold for Yeshua. Dividing Jerusalem is like trespassing upon the Lord's threshold, and he will bring judgment on the nations for dividing Israel. Take these courses on biblical covenants and learn of his ways, that when the God of Israel makes a covenant with his people, it is eternal and everlasting and sealed in his own blood.